Hello, and welcome to Lauriceskitchen. Kitchen. Today, I'm making a more traditional version of coq au vin using red wine, as opposed to our less traditional white wine, mayonnaise, and cheese sauce from several years ago. We'll be using Franzia Merlot, which is our wine of choice from our favorite cousin,
Hans,
for this recipe. Aside from the wine, let's see what else we're gonna need. This recipe originally was a way to use up old boiling chickens, which you can't really find anymore. So for this recipe, we're using 2 skinless boneless chicken breasts that have been cut in half, along with 7 boneless skinless chicken thighs. These I have very generously seasoned with salt and pepper. I also have 12 ounces of mushrooms. Now these are creminis. You could also use baby bellas. The large ones have been quartered, although most of them have just been cut in half. I also have 1.5 pounds of shallots. Now these have been peeled and I've cut off the tops that were long and dry. As of late, we have not been able to figure out how many shallots is too many shallots, so don't be shy. I also have 4 cloves of garlic that I have minced. I also have 1/2 pound of bacon. Now this has been chopped and partially cooked because I used the other half a while ago and I didn't want it to go bad. If you're just using fresh bacon, that's fine. We will be using all of the fat, so don't get rid of any of it. We'll also be using our red wine. Now we're not going to be using all 5 liters in this box, but we will be using the equivalent of 1 bottle. So that's 22 ounces or 750 milliliters. And as always, the cat is optional. Our bouquet garni consists of a few sprigs of fresh parsley, fresh thyme, a few sage leaves, and a couple of dried bay leaves. These are all tied into a cheesecloth wrap. They go into the stew to cook, but that way we can pull them all out very easily. We'll be using a beurre mayonnaise to thicken this stew, which consists of 2 tablespoons of very soft butter, along with 4 tablespoons of flour. You just mix this together until it forms a paste. This entire meal gets cooked on the stovetop. So, let's get started. This is my 7.5 quart Dutch oven, and if you're a follower of this show, you'll know that I cook all of my sourdough bread in here, so it's pretty dark. We need to start with the bacon, and we're adding all of the fat in. So if you're using raw bacon, just cook it and don't remove any of the fat. If you've partially cooked the bacon, make sure you keep all the fat with it. And we're going to cook this until it's crispy. I'm not taking the bacon out while I cook the shallots, so this doesn't have to be completely crisp before we add this in. That way it won't burn. And yes, I had 1 shallot that was the size of an onion. All right, we're just gonna let these sit in here and get some color. Okay, let's check these. It smells so good in here. Oh, that came off. It'll be fine. All right, they're starting to get a little bit of color, so I'm going to add in the mushrooms. And I'm going to stir this around and then put the garlic on top to allow it to soften. If at any time you think this looks dry, these mushrooms can soak up a considerable amount of oil. just add in a little bit of canola oil. And I'm going to let this sit on top for about 2 or 3 minutes just to soften, and while we let everything else get some color on the bottom. This is all very fragrant, so it's time to give it a stir. And we always want to cook the garlic last because we want to make sure that does not burn. Even just a little bit of burnt garlic can ruin a dish. All right, we're going to give this just maybe another minute or so more, and then all of this is coming out of this pan so we can cook the chicken. Okay, all of this is just going back into the original pie plate that I had the shallots in. Okay, I'm turning this down to medium, and I am going to need to add in some oil. Okay, and then we'll just cook this chicken in batches. And then I'm just seasoning the other side here. Okay, this does not need to be cooked all the way through because we are going to be cooking it for an additional 40 minutes or so with all the wine. I'm just putting it in this plate with the vegetables. Okay, everything can now go back in. And we're going to add in all of this wine. Okay, and try to get everything down in there. Especially the chicken. Okay, we're going to let this come to a simmer. Let me add my bouquet garni in here. Okay, once this comes to a simmer, we're going to turn it down to low, cover it, and that's going to cook for about 40 minutes. Okay, this has been about 40 minutes. Okay, we're going to take out this bouquet garni. Okay, and then we're just going to stir in this beurre mayonnaise just a little bit at a time. Then once this is all stirred in, we're going to let it simmer for about 5 more minutes to cook everything through. It's a little warm for this particular meal. We're in the high 80s with about 100% humidity today, but it smells amazing. Let's give this a taste. Now I'm trying some of the chicken thigh, which essentially is falling apart. And I'm serving mine with steamed baby potatoes. Here, I'll get a little bit of shallot here. Steamed baby potatoes, steamed broccoli, and some breadsticks. And I'm probably gonna burn my mouth. This is so hot. It's amazing.
Thank you for visiting Laurice's Kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, give the like button a click and don't forget to leave a comment. We're always happy to hear from you. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and don't keep us a secret. Share our videos with your friends and family. You can follow us on Facebook for behind-the-scenes pics and videos, and on Twitter for upcoming videos and the random cat picture.